beat the Georgia Bulldogs, you're gonna feel the bulldog.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Row 60, a Georgia football podcast. My name is Clark Gaines. Joining me today, as always, Adam Thornton.
Boom! Woo!
And this is show number 131. Georgia comes back home to Athens this week to take on a really, really good Texas Longhorns team. I'm fired up.
Yeah, I'm fired up, Clark. A Texas Longhorn team that is still in contention. You know, a lot of people wrote them off here earlier in the season and the close games that they've had. They faced some adversity, too, like Georgia has. Came from behind against, teams like Kentucky, like Mississippi State. But they seem to have been playing much better ball 2 weeks ago, the last time we saw them at home against Vanderbilt. And they had a bye week to prepare for Georgia. Got a chip on their shoulder after what happened last year, 2 times against Georgia in Austin and in Atlanta. They're fired up. You could tell looking at just Texas message boards, man, they hate Georgia already because of last year. Oh, yeah. They want this one bad. Of course, Georgia wants this one bad. 2 teams, middle of November, both in playoff contention, both still in SEC championship contention, and it doesn't get any bigger than this. 7:30, Chris on the call, man, Sanford Stadium. What it's all about, can't wait. Let's roll.
Yeah.
Let's do it, baby.
It's worth noting that this will be Texas's first time ever playing in Athens, Georgia. So we need our fans to be elite this weekend. It's going to be a red out. Have you seen that?
Yep, I saw that. Good on that, man. I'm always down for people wearing red and just getting fired up. Whatever gets anybody motivated to get there and lose their voice. If you're fortunate enough and blessed enough to be inside Sanford Stadium, 7:30 on a nice chilly November night, it's going to be a good day. What the old weatherman says, and the weatherman's been known to lie a time or two, Clark. But the weatherman says it's going to be a good day for tailgating. And, of course, it's not going to be hot, but it's going to be a good day of just being able to be comfortable out there. A little bit of a chill, man. I hope it's a little bit of a chill at night when the sun goes down. I love that. November football. Then, to be blessed to be there, then you should be that you wake up Sunday morning without a voice if you're going to that football game.
Agreed. Right now it's showing 63 degrees at kickoff, which that sounds nice.
Oh, yeah.
Just enough of a chill,
perfect.
Not freezing.
Perfect.
Yeah, so wear your red if you're going. Even if you're not going, wear your red. It's going to be a great time in Athens. And on this episode, we're going to be previewing, obviously, the Georgia versus Texas game exclusively. We've got an announcement to make. We've got some shout-outs. We've got some history between Georgia and Texas. Not very extensive, but history nonetheless. Georgia's offense, defense, we'll be talking about those units and what they have to do to win this game against, once again, a very good Texas football team. And then last but not least, we'll have some Week 12 games and a score prediction at the end. So let's start with an announcement, Adam. This was kind of up in the air last time we talked, but we are going to be doing a live call-in show this Friday night, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we want y'all to call in. Unfortunately, we won't be able to do it Tres Amigos this time, but be on the lookout because we might do that again. That was so much fun.
Yeah, that was a good time. Hate we couldn't make it happen this time, man. But family dynamics, kind of stuff going on, scheduling. Couldn't get out to Athens on Friday night on my part, and I hate that happened, man. But at least we're gonna get out there sometime and get back with Brian and the guys and girls and Brittany, everybody over there at Tres Amigos. Just a great venue. Go check it out if you hadn't already and eat there. And we'll be doing a show there soon. Just hate I couldn't make it out there Friday night. But we'll be here for a live call-in show.
Yeah.
So it'll be good. It'll be good.
I think Georgia plays Georgia Tech Friday night, so we might have that game going on. Also, shout out to the Franklin County Lions, man.
Yeah.
That's our alma mater, our high school alma mater, and they're in the state playoffs for the first time in, I believe, 5 years, I think is right.
Yeah,
with a big 7-3 record right now. And, looking to make some noise in this playoff. So shout out to them.
One of the best regular season finishes they've had in a while. Beat our arch rival, Hart County, 31-0 to end the regular season. The first time Franklin County has beat Hart County in 20 years. So we were fired up about that. So excited to see them on the road Friday night as playoffs start all across the state of Georgia. Everybody support their local high schools in that. Man, if they've been fortunate enough to earn a spot in the GHSA playoffs, and it's a good time of year. It's a good time of year, Clark. We were talking about this last podcast. How, man, you just get almost kind of sad a little bit this time of year because you're thinking, man, we're almost to the end. It's just gone by in a blink of an eye. But I was listening to Josh Payton I think his podcast he had earlier in the this week. And he said right now, if you look at it if you take the time frame from Labor Day weekend kickoff to January 20th or whenever the national championship is this year, that date, we're at the halfway point of that right now.
Wow. Man, that's exciting.
The teams that will be in the national championship just right now this week are at the halfway point of their season.
Wow. That's good perspective right there.
Yeah. So, I mean, nonetheless, there'll be college football. We still got another half of it to go for the full, complete season, regular and postseason. So it's the most exciting time of it. It's like we alluded to last episode, Clark, is that this point in time is you hate to see the season end, but this is the buildup right here when you're fortunate enough to be a team like Georgia in contention. This is what you've been dreaming of, talking about scenarios of in the off season, in the summer, of what it will be like come November. Where will Georgia be at? Where will it be at during playoffs? What the playoff matches will be? And we finally got to that point where it's starting to shape out. Clark, what now has been the second releasing of the college football playoff committee rankings. Georgia State at 5. And so, yeah, it's that time of year to get juiced about that. And big-time games, 2 of the last 3 to end the season. And it looks like it's going to come down the wire. If you take care of business against Texas on Saturday, it's going to come down the wire to, again, a game in College Station, Texas. It'll be in Austin, Texas this year between Texas A&M and Texas, with huge implications on if Georgia makes it to the SEC championship or not. And, so take care of business, man. You're still in the hunt for that, and we'll be till Black Friday, see what happens there. So at least, though, in contention to host a playoff game, but got to take care of business these last 3 games. I'm ready. I'm fired up. Paul.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time. So live call-in show, 8 o'clock p.m. this Friday night. Join us. We'll be live on YouTube, Facebook, potentially X. I think we were able to stream that. Yeah.
On the Twitter.
Also known as Twitter. Yeah. Formerly known as Twitter. Which ought to be good. So join us. It's going to be a great time. Call us. We'd love to hear from you guys.
Good. Yeah.
All right, let's talk about some Georgia-Texas history. Not much, like I said earlier. Georgia right now is 3-4 all-time against the Longhorns. So we've only won 3 times. And 2 of those wins came last year.
2 memorable games, Clark. Last year in Austin, the defensive performance had there, Trevor Etienne's performance, and going there for the first time, and the experience it was for those lucky enough to have been able to go to that game was one that we'll cherish forever. And it was just a great game. And then you go back, you play them in Atlanta, you're like, dang, we just beat them a few weeks before this. Can we come out and replicate that against a good Texas team? It's hard to beat a good team 2 times in a season, right? And Georgia came out, and then a thriller, dramatic overtime win that Trevor Etienne walked it off. That's when we got introduced to Gunner Stockton in the leadership role, man, and great night in Atlanta that night. So 2 memorable games last year. And then the third win is the one in the Cotton Bowl, in the 84 Cotton Bowl.
Yeah.
Right? So John Lastinger led Georgia, a big-time win that kept Texas from winning the national championship. And back in those days, it wasn't like number 1 played number 2 in that bowl game to win the national championship. It could have been it was just conference alignment on different bowls they went to, and it was crazy how the format was back then. But Georgia, even though they weren't in contention to win a national championship, Texas still had a shot at it. And Georgia goes into Dallas in the old Cotton Bowl, beats a Texas team they were heavily underdogs against, 10-9, and that's why it'll always be 10-9 in the state of Texas. When you ask what time it is in the state of Texas, 10-9.
I like it.
10-9, baby.
Yeah. Last year, though, man, those games were awesome. Just revisiting that. I said last episode that one of my all-time favorite trips was out to Tempe, Arizona for the Arizona State game in 2008. You and I both flew out there, Adam. It was a great time. But I will say, I was thinking about this trip this week, but that trip last year to Austin, oh, my gosh, it was so much fun, man.
That was special, man. And what was so fun about it, too, was how we put it all together and the group we went with, and we rented a van, and then we were like, man, if we fly into this airport, we could save this amount of money right here, and then if we go back right after the game, fly out of this airport, we could, we can make this a doable trip. We're trying to make it as cheap and cost-effective as possible, but what we didn't take into consideration, really, was how long it was to get from Austin to Dallas or Dallas to Austin.
Yeah, right after the game.
Yeah, right after the game. So, I mean, that was a drive. Me and you had to stay awake. The rest of the van fell asleep. But we kept ourselves motivated to stay up, and we rolled in on fumes.
Probably
fuel-wise and Fatigue-wise.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we
Dallas
arrived at that, I think it was Love Field we flew back to Atlanta from, but we arrived at like 4 a.m. in the morning. It was wild, man. What a trip that was.
Yep.
You know, speaking of this, I just have to bring this up. There was a guy on Facebook this week. We posted a reel. I'm sure most of y'all have seen it if you're on Instagram or Facebook, where it's sort of a montage of all these great memories that Adam and I have going to these games over the years. And there was this guy on Facebook, for whatever reason, just had to make it known that we hadn't done anything. He said, like, you guys haven't done anything. I've been 18 straight years of going home and away games.
And that's
yada,
good.
yada.
That's awesome, man.
I said, great. I mean, that's not really the point of this, but good for you. And he just kept calling us clowns and everything. And he got to a point where he said, you guys are just daddy's money. And I thought, dude, if you only knew, we are like, at least I am. I can't speak for Adam here. No. I'm broke going to these games.
Yes, I'm very broke. I'm very broke. And it's one of those things, man, that you choose to go to and you make the memories of it. And we've been fortunate enough to go. Obviously, I missed last week at Mississippi State. I'm not able to go to every single one of them, but the ones we are able to go to, it's a blessing. And the ones that listeners go to, it's a blessing to them. And that's wild, man. That's why I stay off social media. Personally, I know we have to for you have to for your business and for you running Row 60 and getting us exposure. You have to, but that's the kind of stuff, man, that it's funny to hear about. But why I stay off social media? Because I mean, just they're miserable people in there. But hey, it's all right. If it makes him feel better about himself to spout that off, I'm all about that. Whatever, that's fine.
Yeah, but, he ended up blocking Row 60, which I thought was incredibly ironic. But he was the one yapping on our page and calling us clowns and. You guys haven't done anything. You haven't been 18 straight years. I'm like, what?
No, we haven't done anything. We just we're not there to do anything. It's just to go enjoy something we love to do with people we love, right? And we do the show just to ramble about it and hopefully have other people who are interested in the same thing, like-minded individuals that get to enjoy it. Yep. And take time out of their daily lives and stresses to get lost in Georgia football, man. And hopefully we can provide an avenue and a channel for that. But hey, that's cool then. So,
All right, let's talk about Texas this year. They are currently 7-2, pretty good record, 5th in the SEC. Their two losses come to Ohio State in Week 1. They got beat 14-7 in the Horseshoe. And then at Florida in the Swamp, 29-21. I thought that was a very bad loss for a lot of different reasons. If you consider the state that Florida's in, it's bad. But also just in the way that they lost. They did not look good that day. And I very vividly remember watching them and thinking, man, they just can't get anything going. To allow Florida 29 points, and it's just not great. I mean, we gave up how many to them? 20. 20. Yeah, that's right.
So
but not much better, but
yeah,
you get my point.
I mean, tough day for Texas in the Swamp there, right? And it definitely was. It just seemed like just this whole year, the preseason hype Texas came in with, Clark, was just, they went to the semifinals last year, played Ohio State the closest of anybody after Ohio State got hot in December last year. And, the whole build-up on Arch Manning because of the name across his back, right? And he was the preseason Heisman favorite. They had the big game against Ohio State, and they were preseason ranked number 1 going into the shoe up there. And they played a tough 14-7 game. And at that time, looking at that game, you're like, well, that's fine. You play a tough opponent like Ohio State and only lose by a touchdown. Labor Day weekend on the road, you got to respect that schedule even happening. You don't punch them that much. But then it just seemed like they never could quite turn it on, right? And it seems like we're in mid-November, and there hadn't been just that impressive of wins. Their most impressive win was beating Vanderbilt, 34-31 2 weeks ago at home?
Or Oklahoma.
That's true. That's true. I forgot about that one. Yeah, when we played Auburn, they did beat Oklahoma with a banged-up John Mateer in the Cotton Bowl in the neutral site. So, yeah, I mean, either one of those they're impressive wins, and I think you definitely have to say they look like they're playing better ball here, and Arch is settling in a little bit better. Definitely have a dominant defense. They did last year, and I think the same can be said this year as well, even though they gave up a lot of points on the road to Mississippi State. One thing, too, that I really love, man, is you alluded to those 2 big wins they had. Both of them were at home or at a neutral 50-50 site, still in their same state of Texas, right?
Yeah.
But if you look at the games like at Florida, Kentucky, where they had to win in overtime, Mississippi State, where they had to win in overtime, or away from, DKR in
Right.
Austin, Texas, right? So that's good that this team seems like, not saying that they won't be able to, but they haven't been able to put a complete game together on the road so far. So I like that, coming into a hostile environment in Athens, Georgia, probably the most hostile environment they've played in outside of you could argue Ohio State, but that was a noon kickoff, hot Labor Day. This is going to be a mid-November night, a lot on the line, primetime 7:30 in Athens, Georgia, and excited about that
Yeah,
fact too.
for sure. Their wins have come against San Jose State, UTEP, Sam Houston. Wow, what a resume so far. Oklahoma, as you mentioned, in the Cotton Bowl, neutral site. I think that was their most impressive win.
That's true.
They go
Say
on the
that for
road.
sure. Yeah.
They go on the road to Kentucky, beat them in a sloppy game from what I remember. I mean, overtime, right?
Both Kentucky and Mississippi State overtime.
That's true. At Mississippi State, overtime, and then at home versus Vandy. That was also an impressive win. But yeah, I mean, 7-2. Their record says they're a good team, not elite, I would say. But, that's why you play the game. I mean, this is one of the most elite rosters, I think, or should be at least, in the nation. And received a lot of preseason hype. Yeah.
Yeah, without a doubt, they're one of the most elite rosters in America on both sides of the football. And coming into the preseason, everybody told you that. That's why they were ranked number one. And a lot of people, they were their national championship, but definitely SEC championship pick. And one thing you have to say, even though you might not respect the caliber of the opponent, Kentucky and Mississippi State, is that they did come from behind and beat. I know Mississippi State did a very impressive fourth quarter comeback. So they have, much like this Georgia team, Clark, had to come from behind, play all four-quarter ball games and be in dogfights, and came out on top of a lot of them.
Yeah.
And outside of Florida and Ohio State. So this is a battle-tested team as well as Georgia. So
Yeah.
I think that's what I'm excited about Saturday night is what we've been talking about, the narratives of this Georgia football team to go the rest of the regular season, is a lot of it's going to be answered in our hopes of what we've seen kind of sparked here recently for this football team. It's going to be a great test against Texas to see where we're truly at.
Yeah. Well, Sark said it in an interview this past weekend. He was talking to, sort of a presser or whatever. He was asked about Kirby Smart and this team, and he brought that point up. This is a team that doesn't die. They don't go away.
That's right.
He said the loss that they had to Alabama at home, Georgia didn't go away any of that game. And so these are two teams that I feel like have that identity, and it's going to be interesting. It's definitely going to be a four-quarter battle, in my opinion. I also said that last week against Mississippi State, but I really believe it to be true for this Georgia-Texas game.
Yeah, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Last thing, and then we'll kind of talk X's and O's. Georgia is 8-0 against top 10 ranked opponents between the hedges.
Wow.
Kirby Smart.
Really?
Did you know that?
Man, I didn't even think about that. That's a great statistic right there.
Yeah.
8-0 against top 10 opponents under Kirby Smart at home. That is the definition of home field advantage when you have two teams that are evenly matched like that. And then even one of them was definitely not evenly matched, because one of them in that category would be the 2016 Georgia-Auburn game where Georgia was unranked.
True. Yep.
So, just knowing how to win at home against good opponents. Love the fact we have them in Sanford right now. That has given me a common feeling about this game going into it. And I'm excited, man. But definitely a team you got to respect. Respect Steve Sarkisian, honestly, and the offensive mind that he is. And he's definitely going to have a chip on his shoulder to beat Kirby Smart in Georgia after last year, just like that whole Texas roster, that coaching staff, and that fan base. So
Yeah. And for the record, there are people that are probably saying, well, wasn't Alabama ranked top 10? No, they were ranked 17th when we played them.
Great point.
In Athens this year. So, yeah, 8-0 against top 10 ranked opponents. That's awesome under Kirby. So, hopefully.
There we go. Make it 9-0, baby.
Yep, we got to keep it going this Saturday, and that starts with Georgia's offense. Texas defense absolutely will keep them in this game. They have one of the best, if not the best, front seven in the nation, in my opinion, and it shows in their run defense. They allowed just 78.2 yards per game, the second in FBS. So really, really good run defense from this Texas team.
Yeah, I think the core to winning national championships or championships in general in football is a veteran quarterback, good experienced quarterback, signal caller, and a dominant defensive front, right? And, of course, there's other factors, but those are two core factors in it. And one thing, have you ever watched Landman?
Landman.
Landman. The Paramount, the Taylor Sheridan, the Yellowstone guy.
No.
Billy Bob, cousin Billy Bob Thornton was.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, cousin Billy Bob.
Yeah,
he's a star in Landman, man. Great series. But I really enjoyed it. I hadn't got to watch all of it yet, but watching it. But it just shows kind of a dramatic show about the oil business in Texas and in West Texas, right? And Billy Bob, he's an oil guy, runs these oil drills and everything, and these different oil patches. For a larger company, man. So he's out in the field there, and it's just dramatic, but it's a great show. I enjoy it. So it shows just how big, and I mean, even without watching that show, you know how big the oil industry is in Texas. And you know how big the oil industry is in Texas. You know what that buys you?
Football players.
Some freaking big dudes on the defensive line. Some freaks and monsters on the defensive line.
Yep.
That's what happens. And I say that because the top two run allowed defenses in the nation is what? Texas Tech and Texas, right?
Right.
So Texas number 2 right behind Texas Tech. And the reason both of them are 1 and 2 right now is because of the NIL and the deep pockets that are in the Lone Star State. And it's oil money, man. And A&M benefits from it too. You look at the NIL, what the state of Texas is doing, and I'm not going to hate on it, but I've talked about how I'm not a big fan of the oil tycoons because of this reason. You could go back to previous years when this kicked off, and I talked about what the oil tycoons would be doing, and that's what's happened at A&M, at Texas, and at Texas Tech, and I don't blame them. If I had the money to spend it, then I would be like, hey, brother, come to the University of Georgia, son. Yep. Come to the University of Georgia. We'll give you, stroke this check right now. If I had that money, I'd do it. But I don't have that money. And we don't have the money that some of the people in Texas do, even though we've been blessed as a program. But that's why you see some of these dominant players, man. That's why Texas Tech 100% is there, has a defensive line like a freaking early 2010s Alabama or a Kirby Smart era Georgia, right? And the same category, and Texas has those guys. I mean, we've lost on a couple recruits that would have normally in the past come to Georgia to be developed by Trey Scott and Glenn Schumann and Kirby Smart to follow that lineage of Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis and Devontae White and those guys, right? But because the money is so good that they get there, they're going to Texas. Yep. So anyway, there's my rant, my annual rant of the oil tycoons and NIL and the Lone Star State. Yeah, and I'm a big fan of the state of Texas. I'm not a fan of Austin. I don't like Austin, Texas, and kind of what they believe in Austin. I'll just say that. Mm-hmm. I like the West Texas culture. Okay, what they do in West Texas, right? Yeah, and some in other parts of Texas. So I mean, yeah, I like it, man, because they're they got some good interests in there that align with me. Right, like that's fair. Majority of it. Yeah, I love it. Not necessarily University of Texas though; they're the outlier. They're really not. Yeah. Anyway, that's another podcast I could go on. Yeah. Bonus episode. Great point there, though. Money does buy you really, really good defensive guys, and they do. It does. Yeah. One more thing. I'm sorry. The dynamic of the Texas fan base is quite interesting, isn't it? When we went to Austin last year, it was wild. It's wild, man. It's like a melting pot. Mm-hmm. You just throw these people in here, these people in here, these people stir it all together, and there's a Texas fan base, man. And so few of them actually attended the University of Texas. True. Like, you just look at these people and you're like, clearly you did not go to Texas. And right. And that's fine. You can be a fan of a university. That's fine. Right. But it's very interesting. They're just a huge brand. Like, when you think of college football or just college athletics in general, you're going to generally think of Michigan, Ohio State, Texas, right? Maybe USC. You recognize those logos internationally, I think, for some people. Yeah. That's just kind of their forte, man. And they're going to have a Cowboys star on their arm. Mm-hmm. Right. The Dallas Cowboys, right? Oh, yeah. Tattooed on their arm. Mm-hmm. The big Cowboys fans as well, too. And that's the same state. That's fine, too. But, no, they were good people. We had a good time in Texas, except that one. That one fan behind you? That one fan behind me. Got me a little bit amped up. Got a little bit disgruntled. Anyway, I've took us off the rails, getting sidetracked. Let's go back to defense here. Subpar pass defense, Adam. They allow about 235 yards per game. That's where I think you attack this Texas defense. They're 94th in FBS in pass defense. Really? Yeah, so, I think that bodes well for this Gunner Stockton passing attack. We're going to get the ball out to Zachariah Branch. We're going to get the ball out to Noah Thomas. Man, I love how Noah Thomas has
being used here recently, especially that Mississippi State game. And then we're going to get the ball to our tight ends. It's going to be a lot of that. Are we going to run the ball, though, is the real question. Because if you can run the ball, then I'm feeling really good about this game. And Georgia, I mean, look, Mississippi State, they weren't great on the run. But Georgia's been able to run the ball, not only on just Mississippi State, but teams like Florida. Florida's got a respectable defense front. We moved the ball enough on the ground against Auburn, who has a respectable defensive front. But I think you're going to be tested the most here in this game. This Georgia offensive line, this is their biggest test of the season so far against a really, really good Texas defensive line.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it, defensive fronts like Auburn. Auburn had a really good defensive line, and Florida did too, right? So, and I mean, some of the you're right. I would say this is going to be the biggest test. And last year, Texas had a very good defensive line as well, and they stoned offenses all throughout the 24 season, really. And I think Mike Bobo had a great game plan against Texas and Austin, and in Atlanta as well. And then some of it, though, turnovers. Shot ourselves in the foot and missed out on even more opportunities to score against Texas. And I know you can't compare games in 2024, really, but just adding that up, the same coaching staff against a Texas defense, I think that you could say, especially in the secondaries, took a step back this year.
Right.
Not in the defensive front, but in the secondary. I mean, they were elite secondary level last year, I felt like. And I could be wrong on that just from off the top of the head thinking that they were, but they still got the Michael Taft. Got the safety right there. I like that guy. He's a good one. But anyway, I think what's been wild is now the narrative starting to change across the whole Georgia sphere, Clark, that the narrative of really the strong core of this football team right now is the 3 question marks that everybody was cussing going into the season, and even at the beginning of the season, that they developed opinions against freaking Marshall and Austin Peay about, and even in Alabama and all these in September. It's Gunner Stockton, it's Mike Bobo, and it's Stacey Sherrill's offensive line. Yeah. And right now you could arguably say that's the 3 core groups of this football team. Right. It's really making it click. And then, of course, the newly added wide receiver group. So, yeah, I'm very excited about where this offense is, Clark. I'm excited to see how this run game establishes against this Texas defensive line. I think, it's going to be interesting to see if we can run it between the tackles. And if we can't, that's when you utilize the screen game and how good the tight end blocking has been, getting out on the perimeter and at the line of scrimmage, and also the wide receiver blocking, and be able to utilize that as a branch of the running game. And but one thing I hope we don't do, Clark, is abandon the run quickly. I hope we continue to try to pound it, and I think eventually we'll break loose, and we'll get ours against Texas, man. I really do. We did in Austin last year, and I think we will this year, even though it's going to be a tall task.
Yeah. You mentioned turnovers, Adam. They being Texas, create a lot of turnovers. They are actually +8 this year, turnover margin. And I don't know the actual statistics here, but I would imagine that is top 10% in FBS. So they do a really good job about getting turnovers and then limiting turnovers offensively. So that's something to look out for. Hopefully we don't fumble. Hopefully we don't throw a pick. Thankfully, so far, at least knock on wood here, Gunner has been pretty good through there. I think he's only thrown, 2? Is it 2 picks? Is that right? 2 or 3 maybe? I don't know.
One in Jacksonville for sure that bounced off Noah's hands.
Is there one in Alabama? No.
Might have been. I can't remember the other one. I know it's going to hit me. Yeah, that's right.
I know Pug has at least thrown one.
Was it one in Kentucky? No. Kentucky? Or was that Pug?
Potentially. I think that was Pug. I don't know. Anyway, my point being,
I can't remember.
We really have done a pretty good job, at least through the air, not just throwing unnecessary picks and forcing balls and everything. And that goes back. Listen, I know people were crapping on our receivers last year. They didn't catch the ball, whatever. We weren't getting separation was another point people kept bringing up. But this year, man, it just seems like guys are getting open,
Yeah.
And we got a quarterback who can find those wide open guys, and we have an offensive line who can protect the quarterback to give him the time to find open guys. And then we have an offensive coordinator who can scheme things up. And because we're executing, nobody's really complaining about Mike Bobo these past few weeks. So
yeah, I think it's going to be a game, man, that we're going to be dialed in with a good game plan, and it's going to be all about can we make the right blocks, can we execute the play calls, and I don't think it'll be coming out with a bad game plan to attack this Texas defense will be the reason. If we do fail on offense, it will be, like you said, Clark, self-inflicted, shooting yourself in the foot, penalties, turnovers, and everything, man. But I really feel like that this team's dialed in right now, and I know this is a whole different animal on the defense side of the football than Mississippi State on the front seven, but I do think you still can. There's success to be had there, and I don't think you're going to run up and down the field like you could against Mississippi State or Ole Miss. But I think I'll be able to put up enough points, and that's going to be the big thing is when you do sustain some drive and you get in scoring position, man, is not coughing up the football in the red zone. And being able to utilize and capitalize on getting 7, getting field goals, man, and getting points on the board when you have the opportunity to do it against a stout Texas defense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they have a really good red zone defense from what I can remember reading earlier. And they're just generally very stingy. They only allow 16.4 points per game. So I think this is going to be a low-scoring affair.
Yeah.
A slugfest, a defensive battle, and, man, that's what you like to see sometimes as Georgia fans. At least I do. And I know you're in the same boat.
I do too, man.
We shall see.
I do too. But I love it. This is when you find out. I mean, Saturday, Clark, we're going to find out is where this Georgia offense is, where this team is completely, both sides of the football. It's a great test to know Saturday night when we're leaving Sanford Stadium, we're going to feel really strong one way or the other where the rest of this football season is going to go, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. All righty, let's move on to Georgia's defense and Texas's offense.
All right.
I think we'll start with the elephant in the room here. Arch Manning. Man, tons of preseason hype. Your Heisman front runner in preseason, but he's had an interesting year so far. He's thrown for 2,123 yards. It's a pretty good amount. 18 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. He has a 62% completion percentage, so not amazing, but, pretty good. Serviceable for sure. He's also their team's second leading rusher, and they will 100% use his legs against Georgia. You can take that to the bank. They love to move the pocket with him. He's just a very athletic quarterback. I mean, my gosh, he's a Manning. And, he's not just lightning quick, but, man, he can get you a first down when needed.
Wait, did you say he's an athletic quarterback? He's a Manning?
Yeah, okay. Look, I guess what I meant is like...
he comes from a pedigree of high-caliber quarterback. I get what you're saying.
There we go.
You made him sound like he came from the Jacksons, like he's a Lamar Jackson fan. No, I'm just kidding. I know exactly what you mean. I just had to throw that in.
Oh, yeah. So Arch is obviously their QB. Their running back, they've got a lot of guys that they rely on, but their main one is Quintravion Wisner. Number 5, that's their main rusher. I mean, it's very pro style. They run a very pro style offense. Spread you out, but they have a lot of different backs that they utilize in the backfield. And then as far as the perimeter, their main receiver is Ryan Wingo. I think he's been banged up, but I've heard that he's been practicing this week. He is their go-to guy. He's 6'2", 215 pounds. Very, very good receiver. He kind of was in the shadow of, what was that Golden kid last year? You remember?
Yeah.
It wasn't Matt. It might have been Matthew Golden. Whatever. That kid lit it up against Georgia, especially in the SEC championship.
Right.
But this Wingo kid is the real deal, man. He's done a lot of good for Texas this year. So.
Yeah. Absolutely. Those are some guys you said that's played a lot of football for Texas in a lot of big games, man, playoffs, championship games, and everything. So this is going to be a war against this Texas offense that definitely has some times where you'd say they struggled, but they could turn it on. And Sarkisian is a heck of a play caller. I do like Georgia's defense matching up against a Texas offense. I know that's crazy. I'll say it again. I know people are like, "You're kidding me, Adam. This is the stupidest take ever." But I do like what Georgia and Glenn Schumann traditionally do against offenses like Texas. And I think you saw it last year in Austin. Different players understand that. But as far as still the same schemes on both sides of the football, still the same play caller at Texas, still the same play caller on the defense side of the football in Athens as well, right? And definitely going to have some wrinkles. There's going to be some stuff that we hadn't seen come out of what Sark has implemented because, reminder again, they had a bye week before coming to Athens. So, I mean, he's too good of a play caller, especially what had happened in the past, not to have some new looks and wrinkles, try to give some looks that Schumann and Kirby hadn't seen yet. But also, I feel good about Kirby Smart and Schumann. Did it last year to Quinn Ewers and sending some different guys, sending a quarterback blitz. Dalen Everett had a game in Austin, man, and just some exotic looks that try to create some pressure on Arch, get him confused, try to get him with some bad. We saw early on where a lot of just throws, trying to force the football, bad mechanics and stuff, man, and maybe can get a takeaway from that. It'd be huge if the defense could get a takeaway or two this game. I'd feel really good if we could get a turnover or two, man. But it's just going to be key to be able to I think this offense will be successful. Georgia's offense will be successful against Texas enough that if Georgia's defense can have Texas, punt a couple times, get a turnover, limit just field goals, not be able just to march down there. And I agree, Clark, it won't be a shootout. I do think that Georgia's defense will actually have more success than what I think people will give it credit to. I think, a lot of people are saying, well, Texas is getting better. Well, I think Georgia's defense is getting better, Clark.
Yeah, I'd like to think so. Texas only scores 29.6 points per game this season, so not great, honestly. If you're looking at that metric. They acquire about 246 passing yards per game. That's 49th in the nation. And then they only get about 135 rushing yards per game. That's 95th in the nation. So a pretty, I don't want to say weak offense. Statistically, they're very subpar, though. I mean, if you're just looking at these metrics, pretty subpar, man. But their passing attack has been what's gotten them some wins this season for sure. Third downs, too, Adam. Texas isn't necessarily lead on third downs. They're converting right at 40%. So not great. And that's something that Georgia has struggled with this season. We all know it. Getting off the field on third downs. So maybe that plays into our advantage. Texas also is one of the most heavily penalized teams in the nation. They rank 130th in FBS. So this is an opportunity for us as fans to be loud, to bring the juice, to cause some disruption, and get home, man. I think last week we did a great job. We sacked the quarterback 3 times. We had 6 tackles for losses, which is good. It's what you want. You want to pile those on. And this offensive line for Texas, man, they're also – I don't think they're great. I don't think they are what they were last year. They were very highly touted last year, but they're underperforming this year. They allow about 6 tackles for loss per game so far. So, I don't know. I mean, man, it's just I don't know.
Yeah, it's still going to be a tough offensive line for this D line to face, and it's going to be like you alluded to a great point, Clark, that where they rank at penalized 130th in the nation, and the opportunity to have Sanford rock and create some false start, to get Arch behind the sticks, the tackles for losses that we saw, especially kind of in Starkville last week, continue on that, and getting Texas's offense behind the chains in a lot of different scenarios changes up the game plan and the play call, and that could be huge, man. And especially if you get Arch kind of wanting to panic, feel like he needs to make something happen, and I think that's going to be the key to this defense. Of course, take away the run. That's what Georgia does first and foremost. Do not let them be able to run the football, and you do not let them be able to kind of pound away at you and then establish a run in the second half. No, eliminate that they can't beat you by trying to run the football or being balanced on offense. Make them beat you through the air. And then, I know kind of not getting home with the pass rush and the secondary, and when you combine the two, has led to some explosive plays. And I think that's what Texas is going to try to do, is get some explosive plays here or there and be able to try to move the football that way and get Arch in a groove and a routine and a rhythm. And I think the game's going to be just make Arch man and beat you. And if he comes out and has a career night and beats you, you're going to have to tip your hat to him. But I think you eliminate the run first and foremost, get him behind the sticks, man, and get Arch confused with some disguise blitzes and disguise coverage packages and everything, and really kind of ramp up that environment that he's going to be in, making a start, and make it just a living nightmare for him. And I really think this Georgia defense can have success, but it's going to be all about what kind of, I think, what they get through there, especially explosives, man.
Absolutely. And, you look at last year's games, the SEC championship and the game in Austin, who stood out on defense?
Jalen Walker.
Exactly. Who is going to be the Jalen Walker?
Somebody's going to step up. I mean, and you love what you see now, the inside linebacker room. C.J. Allen the past couple of weeks. Raylan Wilson, we alluded to him, had his best game, right? So I'm excited to see what guys are going to step up. Especially, is this going to be Chris Cole's time, right? Or what are we going to see? Are we going to see more? Is Zayden Walker going to come out the scene and have some big moments? When he gets in there and gets some snaps this week, maybe. So it's going to be very fun to see the chess match between Kirby Smart and Schumann, and Sarkisian, because both of them, I think, has some stuff in their back pocket they're going to throw at each other. There's a healthy respect between the two, Kirby and Steve Sarkisian, I feel like. So I saw where Kirby texted him before the Mississippi State game, asking what he's doing. I like Kirby's demeanor right now. Have you noticed that? Like press conferences and everything. He seems just has this quiet confidence about him right now, right? And maybe that's just me. And just kind of wishing and hoping and taking everything and spinning it how I want to see it, right? But it just I don't know. And I'm very shaded red and black glasses, but just feel like maybe something's just about to explode with this football team. Yeah. And
this week would be the week to do it.
Oh man, even if we win this game like 14-10, I would be elated, Clark. Even if you don't have, a win's a win, obviously, but even if it's not just the offensive numbers that we've seen the past few weeks or anything, there's a bad day. If we see this Georgia defense come out and have a good showing, man, that's going to be the biggest thing that excites me.
Absolutely.
So it's going to be a tough battle. It's going to be a tough game against a highly motivated Texas team.
Absolutely. They're ready to beat us.
This is their chance. It's do or die. You can see Georgia can afford a loss and still go to the playoffs, right? And there's a scenario where, honestly, I could see even if they lose and beat Tech and finish the season 10-2, that might be holding their breath getting in the playoffs, how other things shape out. But this is definitely a game that if Texas loses, they're done. Yeah, they're done. It's Capital One Bowl, Citrus Bowl, Buffalo Wild Wings Bowl, whatever it's called, in Orlando now.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Yeah. Wow, that would be crazy to see Texas not in this playoff. Think about how many people had Texas not only in the playoff, but top, 4 seed.
Yeah. And, even people are talking about they could even sneak in with if they split A&M and Georgia. As a 3-loss team. They would be the first 3-loss team in the playoff. And
as much as the media and everybody just seems to love Texas out there,
I can see it happening.
They 100%. Would be the first 3-loss team in the college football.
They'd love to see Arch in the playoff, but it'll depend on how these 2 games play out for them. So a lot of people I feel like wrote off Texas, but very well. Still in the hunt to make it not only to the college football playoff, but to Atlanta as well. So this is a game that Georgia needs to come out there, put their foot on their throat. And I feel like if we get some things, the ball bounces our way right, Clark, and you get a turnover and you get some quick scores and the stadium gets to rocking, I feel like, too, there is a chance that Texas can really just mentally kind of just fold.
Maybe, yeah.
If the ball starts rolling the wrong, if it starts snowballing against them. I don't see that happening. I think it's going to be a close 4-quarter game that we're going to be on the edge of our seats. But I can see that happening, the scenario playing out. But I love right now, I just got to say this, man. I'm so juiced. And we didn't see this last year, and we still won an SEC championship, even though we didn't see this last year against a Texas Longhorn team, is from everything you hear about, you read about, from outside of Butts-Mehre, just looking in and what you see, that this group is connected, man. And some of these guys, some of these leaders are playing their best ball right now, too. We talked about C.J. Allen and Raylan Wilson. Oscar Delpis played his best ball right now, man. Noah Thomas just had his best career game, but the core guys that have been here for a while, like the Oscar Delps, the C.J. Allens, and Gunner Stockton now, are emerging. And what we've talked about, what you have to have a resilient football team that just wins games and different types of fashions. It doesn't matter how the game plays out, you just find a way to win them, and that's what leads to teams who make deep runs and win championships. Is you got to have that core nucleus, man. And Georgia has that this year. And we didn't have it this year, and we still won a championship last year, so I'm kind of contradicting myself. But as a fan, you got to love seeing what you see of the connection in Butts-Mehre right now. And I think and Kirby sees that, and I think going back to earlier how I was talking about just that confidence he seems to have is when he sees that group of guys right there that are motivated to play, that really don't need all these antics for motivation. I know how the Mothers thing with the early kickoff last week, that was good and all, but really when it comes down to it, this team's ready to go. They're fired up. There's not going to be, I feel like, a from here on out, I just need to – where's Georgia going to find their motivation to get it done? Yeah. This core group of guys, the leadership in the locker room, man, is unreal and exciting to see. And that's what this foundation and this culture that Kirby Smart's built since his second year in 2017, when Georgia's had its most success. When you dig down deep and find the root cause of it, yes, the talent, the 5 stars, absolutely. But it's those core group of guys and leadership that's connected these teams. And we have it this year.
We sure do. Hopefully that pays dividends this Saturday. We need a connected team. We need a connected fan base.
Woo!
Everybody be loud. If you're going to the game, if you're not going to the game, still be loud. Lose your voice. It's okay. We give you permission here at Row 60 to lose your voice if you are at home watching on TV.
And shout out to Will Snipes. Last year he said the Texas fans got mad at him with the eyes of Texas are upon you. He sang I've been working on the railroad to it. And so sing I've been working on the railroad this week.
Yeah, I agree. Do that. Oh, man, good stuff. All righty, let's move on to some Week 12 games. We'll save our score prediction for Georgia, Texas at the very end. But we got some fun ones. Not a great slate, to be honest, but there's some interesting ones.
Decent slate.
And, every single time I say, it's going to be an interesting week, like, it's all right. We get a great week of college football.
We do.
The weekends where you're kind of like, I don't see some major upsets, that's when you actually get the major upsets.
We're due for some. What, the past last Saturday definitely didn't have any.
Right.
So we're due for a little bit more chaos to happen in November.
Agreed.
Of course.
It might start with this one, Adam. Friday night, Clemson at number 15, Louisville, 7:30 ESPN.
Yeah, man.
Listen, Louisville right now, for anybody who just doesn't know about the ACC, they're in the hunt for an ACC championship, I think. Right? No. Now they lost last week.
They lost to who?
California. Did you see that there were death threats to? Is it Jeff Brom?
Jeff Brom?
Yeah, and his family.
What?
A guy in Texas. He must have had some money on Louisville or something. I totally forgot they lost last week. So maybe they're not in ACC championship contention. Nonetheless,
probably still are.
Yeah. Nonetheless, though, there were some death threats to Jeff Brom. Y'all, please don't do that.
That's stupid, man.
Don't
It's
send
just a
death
football
threats
game
to anybody
in life,
but
unless
that should go without saying.
Unless there's some, anyway. But but no, that's just dumb. That's just dumb, especially it's sports game. But that had to have been somebody, literally just a gambler, because there's no way somebody in the Louisville family and the Papa John's family up there, because he's a big Papa John. He's a big NIL Louisville guy, right? I don't even know if Papa John is he still a big time guy?
I don't know.
Did he get in some trouble?
Maybe
so. I might not should have eluded him, but I'm not sure about that. But anyway, there's no way somebody, a part of the Louisville family, is giving death threats to their prodigal son that came back home to lead the Cardinals back to their resurgence, right?
Yeah.
That's just dumb.
Well, the guy
people love Jeff Brom in Louisville.
Yeah. The guy was arrested, actually, who was sending these death threats.
As he should have been.
And I saw that he was on bail for $100K or something like that. So
unreal. What an idiot.
Bond.
What an idiot.
Bail, whatever.
What an idiot, man. That's crazy. But, California, Brian Harsin, offensive coordinator over there in Berkeley for Justin Wilcox. Big win. The ACC's wild. The two biggest odds to best chance, Georgia Tech has the best odds to win the ACC, followed by Duke, who just went up to Connecticut and lost to Jim Mora Jr.'s UConn Huskies football team.
I forget. I really do forget UConn even has a football team.
Jim Moore Jr. has done an outstanding job up there. You know, the Falcons' old head coach back in the day?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Used to coach UCLA for a while. He is, he's living a good life up there in UConn, man.
Yep.
But beat Manny Diaz's Duke Blue Devil team.
So we got Clemson at Louisville. Who do we like here, Adam? Louisville is favored, y'all, by only 2.5 points. That's why I even put this game on the slate. This is at Friday night, once again, 7:30. So you guys can watch this one. This is probably the game we'll have on watching this as we do our call-in show. Clemson at Louisville. Adam, are you going to take an upset here?
Yeah, big Friday night. ACC has been wild this whole year. We've alluded to it, man. And, I hate saying it, but after the big program defining win over Mike Norvell's Florida State Seminoles in the pillow fight that happened in Memorial Stadium in Death Valley, Clemson, South Carolina, the other night on the CW channel. I think Clemson also, they got boat raced in Clemson last year by Jeff Brom's Cardinals.
Yeah.
And Dabo Swinney's not going to get boat raced 2 years in a row.
Oh.
Right?
Adam.
So, unfortunately, I'm not going to be cheering for him. But to try to make up some ground with you, give me the Clemson Tigers.
Okay. All right. That's a bold take right there. I mean, I say it's bold. It really isn't, though. Wow. I'm going to take Louisville, Adam, just because it's a home game, though I do kind of think Clemson has a pretty good chance here.
I think that was a dagger losing to the Cal Bears last week for Louisville.
Yeah.
Shoot, they're still number 15. They still got a lot to play for.
Listen, Cal is not a bad team.
No, they're not. They've won some games this year that they shouldn't have, right? And Virginia lost last week to Wake Forest, so the ACC's all. I don't know who's all still in contention. I know Clemson didn't. You're a bad football team if you're in the Athletic Coast Conference in 2025 and not in contention in mid-November.
Wait, did you
that
say
shows
the
a poverty program?
Agreed. Did you just say athletic?
The Atlantic Coast Conference.
I heard
Atlantic Coast Conference.
I heard
the Athletic Coast Conference. the Atlantic Coast Conference that features the California Golden Bears and the Stanford Cardinal.
Both schools being on the Pacific Coast. Somebody brought this up. I think it was Evan Bearfield at the game the other day at Mississippi State. Shout out to Evan Bearfield. He was saying that they need to rename it to the All-Coastal Conference.
That's a great point. I agree with that, Evan. You need to pitch that to the people up there. And I don't even know. I guess the home office is still in Charlotte, North Carolina. Pitch it to them because, it don't make any sense to be that Atlantic Coast Conference, which is if you're looking from space on the right side of the U.S., then you're featuring teams on the left side of the U.S., in the Pacific Coast. Now, it don't make sense, but from sea to shining sea, man.
ACC football, man.
ACC, sea to shining sea.
Mm-hmm.
They should make a commercial like that. It just means more SEC.
Yeah.
From sea to shining sea.
Ooh.
From Chestnut Hill, Massachusetts, to Berkeley, California, which is a terrible place, down to Miami, Florida.
Yeah. Everywhere else in between. Golly.
Oh, yeah.
All right, another game we got on Saturday. Number 10 Notre Dame goes on the road to number 24 Pittsburgh, 12 o'clock ABC nooner. Notre Dame right now favored by 11.5.
Yeah.
What you think about this one?
Yeah, the last time Pittsburgh's still in the hunt.
I think you're right.
Oh, 100%. Pat Narduzzi, man, he was Michigan State defensive coordinator when they made their playoff run at 15, right? Or it might have been left a year. I can't remember. But anyway, he left Michigan State when they were still relevant in Big Ten championship contention every single year to go take the Pitt job. Beat Clemson in one of their national championship seasons. I think that was 16. They beat Clemson.
Yeah.
And he's had some success there, man. You forget about him, but then all of a sudden Pat Narduzzi's teams will randomly just sneak up on you. I think they won the ACC, one of Georgia's national championship seasons. It was 21 or 22. I think it was 21. 21, they won the ACC. The last time, Clemson didn't make it, there was just pandemonium in the league. I think they played Wake Forest.
Was that Kenny Pickett year?
Yes.
Yeah, the Kenny Pickett
Yes.
year.
So they're probably the hottest team in the ACC right now, playing the best ball. But can you imagine if Kirby Smart said this? Did you see the press conference where Pat Narduzzi said, I don't care. We could lose this week 110-0. This isn't a conference football game. It doesn't matter. We can lose this game 110-0 for all I care. It's all about winning the last two in conference play and winning the ACC.
I did
Which
not hear
theoretically, all your goals will still be out in front of you. You can win the ACC championship, you go to the playoff, win a national championship. But to openly say that, we could lose this game 110-0 for all I care.
That's like saying, that's like Kirby saying, we could just lose to Georgia Tech at the end of the year.
Yeah, we could lose
doesn't
to
matter,
Charlotte 49-3.
Yeah. It's like,
Lose
what?
to the Miners,
What are you
the
talking
49ers.
about?
Right.
Jeez, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's wild. I mean, he said something along those lines. Might not have been word by word for what I said, but it was that was the message that I was trying to bring. And that's wild. But anyway, still, he does a good job up there at Pitt. Pitt might be the team that, honestly, if you ask me today who would be your ACC champion, they play Georgia Tech next week, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So, see what they do against Notre Dame and Marcus Freeman. Oh, still give me Notre Dame to win this football game.
Okay. Yeah, Notre Dame's favored by 11.5. I'm going to go with Vegas on this one. Give me Notre Dame in a fun, interesting game that I'm sure I won't even watch, but might watch some highlights of it or something. I just don't, I don't do ACC football unless it's Clemson, and I know Clemson has a good opportunity to get beat on a Saturday.
Just for the joyous moment.
Yeah,
that would be,
I just,
Or
ACC
Tech,
football,
see Tech lose.
I agree.
When I saw NC State was about to beat Tech, I had to switch it over there. See that, and that was enjoyable to watch up there in Raleigh, North Carolina. Game day is going to be at this game, Clark. Not coming to Georgia, Texas. Probably been to enough SEC games. Of course, already been to Athens this year, so they chose to go to the Steel City up there in Pittsburgh.
Wait, are you serious?
Yeah. that's
Notre
where they're
Dame
going.
and Pittsburgh? That's where they're
game
going?
day, yeah.
Wow.
Pat McAfee going back home.
Oh, yeah,
He's
that's
from
right.
Pittsburgh and played at West Virginia, so I'm sure that had a lot to do with it, and just to do something different and not come back to Athens for a second time. Even though they did that in 22, right? Or 21.
Potentially.
Didn't they come to Athens 2 times in 1 year?
21, Arkansas, and then Kentucky. Yeah.
They did, didn't they?
Mm-hmm. I don't. They might
It
have
wasn't
22.
Kentucky. You sure it was? Yeah, they
Yeah,
did
they
come to
did
Kentucky that
Kentucky.
year. Yeah. 22 there at Tennessee.
Yeah, at Tennessee, and I think that was the only one.
Yeah.
So this one probably was this upcoming game was probably a game in which College Game Day at least considered going to. Oklahoma, number 12 Oklahoma at number 4 Alabama. Alabama is favored by 6.5 points. 3:30 ABC kick. Adam McKay and I this past weekend we traveled through Tuscaloosa. I forget how much I just hate that university and place. I can't stand it, man.
It's a weird hate that I have for Alabama compared to my hate for Auburn, Florida, Clemson, Georgia Tech,
Tennessee.
Tennessee of the likes, right? This is a hate that you have for them because you just can't beat them.
Yeah.
You got to respect them. You really can't say anything bad about them because you can't beat them.
Right.
But you just hate them. I guess you would call that jealousy.
Mm-hmm.
Not really. I mean, I'm not. I don't know.
Envy.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, it's sinful. It's sinful. Either way you spin it, how I feel about them. But yeah, I would have hated to have to go through Tuscaloosa like y'all did. Revenge game for Kalen DeBoer and Alabama, right?
I mean,
wow.
I forgot about that.
How a lot of things have changed in the calendar year when Jackson Arnold led Oklahoma. I think he actually got benched or hurt that game as well. Didn't even finish it. But Oklahoma beat Alabama, knocking them out of playoff contention in Norman last year. And SEC championship contention last year in Norman, which opened the door for Georgia as well to go to Atlanta last year and win the SEC championship. So always appreciative of that. That was a great game to watch. I wish Jalen Milroe was still playing quarterback when they're not playing Georgia, but when they're playing other opponents, Jalen Milroe is still under center for Alabama, right? So, but in Tuscaloosa, man, I had a bad week last week. Kind of, even though they beat LSU pretty handily, I think offensively they didn't look as good, didn't run the ball well. This is going to be interesting, Clark. You know, Oklahoma's got a respectable front, and Alabama has not been able to run the football, and they kind of lean on their offensive success. I feel like is if Ty Simpson's on or not. Mm-hmm. And there were some balls he threw last week, that Ryan Williams and Jeremy that just missed just by a hair a little bit. They would have connected, been some big explosive plays. But if he's not accurate with the football and Oklahoma and Mateer is on his game, I think it's going to turn out which quarterback is dialed in the most and having the best game and being able to get the ball through the air the best Saturday night. But I'm going to go with Ty Simpson turning it on and outplaying John Mateer and Alabama winning this football game in a 4-quarter contest. But it's going to be a fun one to watch before our game kicks off.
This is going to be a great one. Adam, I'm going to take Oklahoma. I think Oklahoma has the defense to go in and do this. LSU had the defense last week, played lights out defensively. They just didn't have an offense. And I think Oklahoma has that. I go back and I think about Oklahoma going into Neyland a few weeks ago. So they're battle tested, especially on the road. I like this Oklahoma team. I don't want to play them, actually. This is one of the teams I don't want to meet up with in the future, but potentially might meet up with them. I don't know. We'll see. I like Oklahoma, though. Give me Oklahoma beating the Tide and making things really interesting in the SEC.
You know, that's a team that nobody's talked about as far as getting an at-large bid in the playoff. That if they win this game and win out, they're number 12 right now. So they're already in, theoretically, right now, the playoff rankings. I know you got to sneak a group of 5 team in there for that 12 spot, but people are going to lose between now and the first weekend in December. But if Oklahoma keeps winning and finishes their regular season 10-2 with losses to Ole Miss at home in a close game and to Texas in a neutral site, with a win over a top 5 ranked Alabama on the road, man, you might see them. You look at it, golly, the SEC could get very interesting. I mean, you already have teams right now still with 3 weeks left in the season that can make it is Texas A&M, Alabama, Georgia,
Ole Miss,
Oklahoma, and Vanderbilt. That's 6 teams right there, right?
Right. Crazy,
and
man.
I said Texas, right?
Yeah, Texas A&M, yeah.
I mean, it's going to be a wild finish, and that's what has been a blessing of conference expansion and playoff expansion is you get this chaos and drama that's entertaining, or could give you a heart attack. Either way you want to spin it at the end of the year in late November.
Yeah, absolutely. That's going to be a good one, Oklahoma and Alabama. I like that. All right, next up and lastly, number 14 Virginia at Duke. Duke is favored by 6.5 points, despite being unranked. 3:30 ESPN 2. This is an interesting game right here. I might, you know what I might do? I've got this quarter here. I've had this quarter on set for like 3 weeks, and I just fiddle around with it during the episode. I'm going to flip a quarter.
Okay.
Leave this up to fate.
Flip a quarter.
All right. Heads, I'll make Duke, and tails, I'll make Virginia. Heads. So I said Duke. I'm going with Duke.
You're going with
Give me Duke at home. I don't even know if you call that an upset necessarily against number 14 Virginia.
Yeah. So. Both teams are very disappointed right now.
Yeah.
Both of them are in ACC championship contention in November. For Virginia Cavaliers and the Duke Blue Devils. They're sitting basketball either.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I don't like Tony Elliott, Clark. He's one of Dabo's original guys over there in Clemson, a part of the cult over there. Mm-hmm. You know, Tony Elliott, Jeff Scott, Venables, all those guys that when the band was together over there. So I really just don't want to cheer for Virginia because of him. No ill will against him personally, just because of who he's associated with. Don't want to see him succeed. But they did tote their first loss last week to the Demon Deacons of Wake Forest.
In the ACC.
Yeah, I don't have any ill will to Manny Diaz. Do you have any ill will to Manny Diaz?
Not really.
Not really. I mean,
he slicks his hair back.
He does.
Which, if you slick your hair back, nothing wrong with that.
He does look, I mean, he was picture perfect, like a guy for the Miami job as far as, you know, his background, culture and everything. But Mario Cristobal is too, right? And I kind of want to pick Virginia to go against you and separate us. I want Duke to win. I actually kind of think Duke will win, Clark, at home.
Pick Duke.
But I kind of want to do this where we can get some separation.
Well, you may be separating yourself even more if Duke beats Virginia. You might be going deeper into the loss column.
Give me the Duke Blue Devils.
That's what I like.
Give me the Duke Blue Devils, man. I'm going to ride with Duke at home. The band getting rallied back together. The troops really getting motivated after going up to Connecticut
and losing.
But
jeez,
it's one of those games, man. It wasn't an ACC game. You go up there and lose to Connecticut in football, then, you know. God, how do you come back from that?
Yeah. Duke UConn. That's a great basketball game there.
It is, but it was a great football game. It was a great football game too, apparently.
Oh, man. What a time. What a time. Well, that wraps it up for Week 12. There are a lot of other great games on the slate. I say great. Good games. But
any week of college football is great.
That's true, man.
Just think of, like, April 11th. Oh, wait a minute. That's probably like Masters weekend or something. That's a bad. Think of like, no, that's probably college basketball.
Think like February 28th.
Yeah. Think of, your viewing options on February 28th. You would crawl on your hands and knees to a TV remote to turn it on to watch Virginia and Duke at that point in time. Like the things that you would do just to watch the Virginia Cavaliers and Duke Blue Devils tee it up in Durham, North Carolina, and sit on your recliner and watch that on February 28th. Yeah, on the last day of February.
Yeah.
You would. Yeah.
You would do it.
You would do it.
We love college football. And if you loved this episode, please leave us a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Helps us to grow this Georgia football community. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss another video. And also, while you're on YouTube, comment below your score prediction for this week's game. If you're coming to the game this weekend, come see us, Section 108, Row 60. We'd love to shake your hand, get a picture with you, whatever. And, just meet up with you guys. That's always a great time of ours. And it's really easy to get to us, by the way.
Yeah.
You just find Section 108, and we are the very last row there. There's a wall that sort of divides the concourse from the bleachers, and Adam and I will both be there. So come stop by, see us. We'd love to see y'all. All right, Adam. Georgia versus Texas, 7:30 ABC prime time right here. Baby. Georgia right now is favored by 6.5 points. Adam, I like this being a 4-quarter battle. I don't want it to be a 4-quarter battle. I'd hope Georgia just comes out and smokes Texas, but I don't think that's going to be the case. Give me the Dogs by a touchdown, 27-20. To improve to 9-1 on the college football season.
I love it, man. I love it. That's I was thinking about this the other day, Clark. If you would have told myself in 2015 that Georgia and Texas would have a big mid-November regular season conference game, I would have thought, what planet are we living in now?
Yeah.
Here we are, Georgia and Texas. Texas's first trip to Athens, man. And you think about what the college football world, what the world in general thinks of a team like Texas. They're a darling. They've been a darling my whole lifetime, that all across America, you go to all these states, oh, yeah, I'm a Texas fan. Even though there's no connections to them, they just like Texas. Do you remember watching Man of the House, the movie that came out in like 2005? Great movie, actually.
Okay.
Great movie. Oh, what's his name? Dang good actor in that. He's a bad man. Oh, what's his... God. Drawing a blank of what the guy's name is. Man of the House, you need to watch that this week in honor of the Georgia-Texas game. No, it ain't Dennis Quaid. I love Dennis Quaid. He's probably one of my favorite actors, him and old Mel Gibson.
Okay.
But this he's a good actor too. What was his name? Wait a minute. I'm sorry. I got to pause. This is good. This is good stuff, though.
Man of the House?
Man of the House. Like, came out in 2005.
Actor. Tommy Lee Jones?
Yes, Tommy Lee Jones. That guy. Tommy Lee Jones, yeah. And Man of the House, great movie from 2005 about the Texas cheerleading squad witnessing a murder, right? And then he's a Texas Ranger, Tommy Lee is, right? So he has to go undercover and live with them to protect them from, to be a star witness in this murder trial that happened in Austin. So they go to a football game. He tackles the Arkansas Razorback mascot. This is a good time, good laugh.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a wild movie. But anyway, roundabout way of saying that, like Hollywood produces movies about Texas.
That was your point and all that?
Yeah, I'm just saying they're a media darling, and they are always, people love the University of Texas. They've been one of the most overrated programs. I love the state of Texas. I love Walker, Texas Ranger TV show with Chuck Norris, one of my favorite ones. I love a lot of things about Texas, but I do not like Austin, Texas. I do not like the Texas Longhorns. I think it's an arrogant fan base who really has not won anything since Vince Young pranced in the end zone against a USC football team 20 years ago in the Rose Bowl, right? Since then, and since Matt Brown has left Texas, really, what have they done? They've gotten the playoffs, but they have not won an SEC championship last year. They have not won a national championship since. With all the resources in the world, man, I just they're a good football team. Going to have to really play well, man. But horns down. Georgia's going to win this football game 24-17. 3 times since Texas entered the conference in the beginning of 2024 that Georgia will have beat Texas. And we will be the boogeyman to Texas after Saturday night. And a lot of Texas fans will be saying something that's familiar to Georgia fans with a certain opponent. But we'll have to be able to see. Texas will be saying, can we ever beat Georgia? I love it. 24-17 en route to a great close of the regular season. We love y'all. Be loud. Enjoy it, man. Nothing better than what will be transpiring in Athens, Georgia on Saturday. Go Dogs!
Go Dogs!